Escape imposter syndrome and feel confident with this one simple shift. Today's episode is sponsored by Billy Keels Advisory Services. If you want to learn more about how to make your 99 optional, just go to makeitoptional.com. Once again, that's makeitoptional.com.
Helping you build freedom without losing your edge. This is the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels.
Escape imposter syndrome and feel confident with this one simple shift is absolutely for you if you are right now or have ever been in a situation where you're constantly comparing yourself to others only to be blocked, to be paralyzed, to not move forward. I'm going to share something with you in a very, very brief episode so that you can get the unlock that you're looking for and not have imposter syndrome continue to paralyze your progress. And what do I mean by that? In like most of these solo episodes, I want to share a personal story with you because, I've been there. Imposter syndrome was something that I realized that was holding me back for a long time. I've now think about the imposter syndrome in a very different way, which is why I'm sharing this episode with you. And this is the thing that I want you to understand, because this is how you're going to begin to feel confident once you make this one simple mind shift, right? Because it's a lot about treating the feelings that you're having. So, and I can take this from both points of view. Like, I remember when I was in my corporate world that I was there for almost 3 decades. I had a chance to work across 86 different countries, and I've lived in 4 different countries in the last almost 25 years. And no matter what, because I wanted to move to the top job always, like to be the CEO, there was always somebody ahead of me, always higher up the org chart. And so I was constantly feeling like, what do I have to do to move up the org chart? And then once I realized, after I missed my son's 3rd birthday party, and I wanted to get to that point where I started to own more of my time, that I was the owner of my destiny, I started realizing that I chose a vehicle which was investing in real assets, intangible assets, what they call alternative investments. And when I did that, there was always someone who had more doors than me, right? When you have a rental property, they had more rental properties than you. They have more little, I think it's greenhouses on Monopoly or whatever the case may be. And so I was constantly feeling like, hey, I'm not enough. Hey, I've got to get to a point where I can do like other people are doing, playing this constant comparison game myself versus where somebody else is, right? And especially if you're somebody who's competitive like me, like I grew up very competitive, like sports competitive, like individual and team competitive in the AP classes, right? Like back in high school, if we think about it, competitive, right? And so it's just part of your makeup to want to compare yourself to other people. But if you just hold on, like I said, it's going to be a real brief episode. I've got something that's going to help you unlock and get to a new mindset shift, because I want you to feel confident, because I know you want to feel confident. And so here's the thing. As I realized that it was about, chasing and looking at other people, the thing is, I wanted, and probably maybe, I wanted other people just to feel proud of me and the things that I was doing, because I was moving forward. I said I was going to do something, and I was actually moving towards that goal. Whether it was at work as I continued to achieve, whether it was I continued to travel, that was something that opened up my mind, gave me a new perspective on things. And then also, I realized that in the side business, that was something that I wanted to continue. But always in the back of my mind, there was constantly this nagging that made me feel like someone is always ahead of me up the org chart. Someone's traveled more countries. Someone's done this. Someone's done that. Someone has more doors than me. And the thing of it is that's because I was around many people that thought it's you versus that person. But one of the things that happened is I began to change my environment, because as I was the corporate employee, the happy corporate employee, like I used to put on my LinkedIn bio, right? And if we're not connected on LinkedIn, by the way, go connect on LinkedIn. What's holding you up? Like, I really want us to connect on LinkedIn. Do that. And so it was there, but I started changing my environment. I needed to change my environment. I started working with an outside coach. I started being involved in masterminds that were online. I would fly back to the US because I started realizing when I started to change my circles, I was now changing the types of individuals, the people that I was actually sharing time with. And these people that I was sharing time with, who were part of a different world that I grew up in or was surrounded by in my normal corporate environment, they were willing to share what was helping them win. And I was like, what? Doesn't that make you less competitive? Like, I'm going to get to you. I'm going to pass you. And I remember someone telling me one time, I was back in the US at a mastermind. I was like, there's enough for everybody. Like, and that was the beginning of abundance and scarcity. And so as it relates to imposter syndrome, why is that important? Well, because those interactions and surrounding who I was with, I started realizing that it was time for me to flip the script. I had to flip the script on myself and stop thinking like it's not fair because he got this or she had that, or the fact that this person, they started sooner than I did, or you know what, they got help from this person, their dad, from their mom. You know what, maybe they didn't have a full-time job, so they had a lot more time to be able to go and do the stuff that they want to do. Or this person, they don't have kids. And I left that mentality behind because it wasn't serving me. It wasn't serving the ones I love and the ones I love. Because why? Well, because it wasn't helping move us forward. Mindset, the imposter syndrome that I talked about. So I flipped the script from worrying about all that to really saying, okay, well, what can I learn from this person who is not working a full-time job or doesn't have kids? How are they organizing their day? Or how are they being able to be very intentional with the relationships that they have? Or understanding, how can I apply what such and such is doing to the way that I want to do my business? It stopped looking at them as a competitor and looking at them as someone that I can, not a imposter that I can never be like, but what can I learn from them? Because I considered that I was not a dumb guy, pretty, some would say smart guy. But so rather than look at them as a competitor, how can I learn from what they're doing, shift my mindset to be able to better myself and those around me, those that I care for the most, those that I love. And I tell you, going through this, it's very humbling shifting the mindset, especially like if you grew up like me, like it's just like there's this scarcity mindset that I'm constantly fighting against. And maybe you're fighting against it too. But it's not that if I have, you can't have. It's abundant. It's big enough. Stop looking at someone who's ahead of you as it's keeping you back. Learn from what they're doing. Go through that discomfort. And so once I started doing that, guess what started happening? That little portfolio that I had, that 5-year plan, guess what? It got smashed and was able to get to that point in 18 months, right? Also, realizing that being around other people, I was something that was called an accredited investor. That allowed me to get access to other types of investment opportunities. I did that. I then was able to improve the size of portfolio and the opportunities that were there. But it's because I changed my mindset. I stopped looking at people that were further ahead of me as competitors that I couldn't, that they were taking from me. The imposter that I can't do what they're doing. No, I flipped the script, and I want you to flip the script, but don't take as long as I did. You're listening to the podcast, take what you're learning and put it in place. Like, it's the mindset. Flip the script. That's the key. That's how you escape the imposter syndrome. Because once I started realizing all this was the thing that I realized. I'm not in a race with anybody else. I'm in a race by myself. This is a race of one. And the more that I can contribute, the more that I can help others, the more that I can also learn and apply from what others are doing that works well, that fits with my values and is in line with the skill set that I have. Guess what? I have the opportunity now to not look at someone else and be an imposter that I can't do what they can do. It's thank you very much. How can I now replicate and do what you're doing? So that my race of one, I feel much more fulfilled, because I want you to feel much more fulfilled. That's the key, right? And I told you I was going to keep it brief, and I wanted to keep it brief. It's to be able to have the unlock, to be able to escape imposter syndrome and start to feel confident with that one simple mind shift. Stop looking like you're being held back because of where they are, to actually, what can you learn from that person? How can you apply that to your life so that you can contribute? and do it sooner, do it faster. And if it's not you, if you know somebody who's struggling with this imposter syndrome right now, share this episode with them. Be the person that is helping them to get to the point that they want to be out and get there sooner. And don't just share, show them that you care. Make sure that you get on the phone, talk to them, share what insights you've had, what challenges that they're having. And while you're doing that, guess where I'm going to be? I'm going to be right here because I want to continue to contribute. I want to continue to share other ideas to help you get to where you want to be sooner. And so I'll be preparing the next episode. So until then, go out and make it a great day. And thank you very, very much.